What's up, weirdos? This is now the Manic Pixie Weirdo podcast. So I'm Abigail, your host. Um, and this week I wanted to talk about my relationship with working from home, seeing as for the foreseeable future we will all be working from home. And uh, but first, some updates. So as you can see, I've changed the name of the podcast to the Manic Pixie Weirdo, from Internal Dialogues of a Curious Human. I just kind of liked the sound of the Manic Pixie Weirdo better. Plus, it's a little bit shorter and it's not quite as a mouthful. Um, so I have now changed the Twitter handle to. Hold on, I gotta pull it up. Right. So the Manic Pixie Weirdo podcast on Twitter, and the handle is at capital MP Weirdo Podcast. Um, I'll add some more about that in the at the end of this. Um, Also, a new update with the puppies. So we were able to sell one. It was one of the girls. She was like super fuzzy. She was like kind of fuzzy. If you've seen any of the pictures that I posted on Twitter, then um you might have seen her. She's a really fuzzy one. She's not the one with like the white soul patch. That's the boy. My husband named him Theodore. So Teddy, because he thinks he looks like a teddy bear. The one we sold we named her Gabby, but now that we've sold her, I don't know if they're gonna change her name or like what's gonna happen with that. But it's a good home. She's got a good home. It's the somebody that our neighbors know. So they like told their friends or something, and so they took them. They took her. Seemed like a good home. There was a little girl that came with her mom to come get her. So they seemed really sweet and very nice. And like they'd give her a good home. So we were pretty happy that that's been kind of my fear with the puppies is because I've never done this before. So it's been kind of my fear that finding a good home because I don't want them to like end up on the streets or something like that. So that's kind of what's going on with that. But yeah, so this week I'm going to talk about my relationship. We don't have a guest this week. I hope you guys enjoyed the ones with my mom. That'll be something that I kind of do on and off is I bring guests on to talk about, kind of their relationship with things and our relationships with things. Um, so hopefully we can make that kind of like a frequent thing. I don't know how frequent, just it just kind of depends. Um, yeah, so working from home. Um, I've done it before. I've had a lot of different jobs. Um, like over the years. Uh my birthday's coming up. I'll be 27. Um, it's a bit terrifying, but whatever. Can't really do anything about that. But I've had a bunch of different jobs like over the years, and one of the big things that I have kind of noticed about myself is that I do like working from home more than I like working like for a company or uh like basically for somebody else. I don't mind doing that. I don't mind working uh like for a company. There are good things about that. One of the things that I do enjoy about like, physically going to a place is, there's it feels good to have that like expectation, like when you wake up in the morning and you go in and there are people like expecting you, like there are people expecting to see you. And it does kind of feel good when you go to a place and there are people expecting to see you, and and people are curious what's going on if like you're not there or something. So that does feel good. I do like that aspect of like that work environment. um I also, I normally get along with like the people that I work with pretty well, when I have worked for like a company. um I don't usually have any like problems or anything like that really. But um I do prefer, I think, just to like kind of work for myself as like a contractor, or like a um be able to work from home and kind of like on my own schedule, kind of whenever I feel like I can do it. Usually when I work from home, uh I so like right now, I've done it differently in the past because I have worked for myself, um in a work from home kind of a situation, contracting kind of like that before. Um and uh One of the things that I do like to do is I usually will go to a Starbucks or a coffee shop, something. It kind of just gets you out of the house, so you're not like stuck inside. Kind of gives you that, just that feeling of like, okay, I'm going to work now. I do like that aspect of, I can, you know, take all my stuff with me and like go to, there's a Starbucks really close to my house. And so that's usually what I do, is I'll usually just like gather all my stuff together and like go to the Starbucks, or the coffee shop that's like close to my house. And uh just to kind of get me, in the in that mindset of like going to work. Um I don't usually like dress up or anything, like professional attire. I'll generally just kind of wear like, leggings or sweatpants or something, nothing crazy. I won't put like a full face of makeup on or anything like that. Or spend a lot of time like doing my hair. I'll just, but it's just sort of that like feeling of like getting all your stuff together and getting out of the house. Uh, that I generally do. Now, since we are in a quarantine situation and we're self isolating and all that kind of stuff, that has been difficult, especially since there have been a lot of businesses that have closed, temporarily, that kind of stuff. But I will say this, that it's really hard. Like, this has been really difficult to kind of like sort of will myself to do this, to work from home. Um I don't know what it is. I don't know what about like the idea. I don't know if it's just that like everybody's kind of freaking out because of the COVID-19 situation, or if it's just that whole like self-isolation, like everybody, everything's closed and everything is, you can't really go anywhere except for like, the grocery store or the gas station or something. But it's just been really difficult to like get out of. I've noticed that I have found like every single excuse in the book, like everyone I can possibly come up with as a reason for like, oh no, I can't like go do work today. even though it's like not hard. Like I've worked from home for a long time. I've done all kinds of different work from home situations. I worked from home, um, for a while, like several years ago. I've been working from, like, I've done it before. This isn't something that like I'm new to. This isn't something that I've never done before. I've definitely done it before, worked from home, quote unquote, or worked from Starbucks or a coffee shop or, whatever. But I have found myself like coming up with sort of every excuse in the book. And I will find stuff to clean. Like, I'm kind of a neat freak in the sense that, like, I hate and like hesitate to say like I'm OCD, because it's not OCD. It's really not. It's just more of like me being a clean freak and liking everything kind of, I have a place for everything and everything needs to be in its place. And I don't like to feel like I live in a dirty house. I constantly am doing laundry and dishes seem to be like the two things that are just never ending. It's an infinite amount of laundry and dishes, and I don't mind cleaning. I actually really enjoy it. I'm a weirdo. I'm a manic pixie weirdo in the sense that I find it soothing. Like really soothing to clean stuff. Like my husband and I have an arrangement where like I don't cook, not because I can't cook. It's just I just don't like to cook. Mainly because like dishes. I'm not a bad cook. I can cook. And I do cook like for myself and for my husband sometimes. But he and I kind of have an arrangement where like, cause he likes to cook. He really enjoys cooking. And so we have an arrangement where he cooks and I clean, and that's kind of just how it goes. And we don't have any problems with that. Like, I enjoy cleaning, he enjoys cooking, so it works for us. But I have found myself just like finding every single thing. Like, I will clean the floor in the kitchen like 4 times a day. And there's no reason to do that. There's absolutely no reason to clean the floor 4 times a day. There's zero reason to do that. Or I'll find a reason to vacuum the entire house. Like, I'll do all the floors and then I'll be like, okay, well, the floors look really good, but you know what? This kitchen is, really bothering me because there's some grease and stuff on the stove. So nope, can't do work because I got to clean up this kitchen. Otherwise it's going to be, and it does, it will, if I see something that I need cleaned, like right now, there's a big, like the way that our office is set up, the desk is like facing, we have this big window and it's facing this window onto our porch and kind of out. So you can see out, you can see, like the bushes and, all just outside. So you get a lot of natural light coming in, which, we both really like. But yeah, like right now I can see that like these windows need to be cleaned. These windows need to be cleaned and this desk needs to be dusted. And it will bother me. Like, until I do it, it will be one of those things that just kind of like festers and like eats away in my mind until I do it. But then once it's done, everything's usually like cool, like everything's okay, like I can relax. I've actually had like panic attacks and not been able to focus on like anything because I will see something that needs to be cleaned and it has not been cleaned, and until I get it done, like it'll fester and it'll like mutate and multiply in my brain and just grow into this looming like thing that just like eats away. until I do it. Then once I do it, obviously, you know, it's fine. Everything's fine after that. But I have just found more and more things like that just around the house. And at this point, it's not even like that it's going to eat away at me. They're just excuses. Like I said, there's no reason for me to clean like the kitchen floor 4 times in one day. Zero reason. Like absolutely no reason. I'm just making up excuses at that point to like come up with stuff that, just so that I don't like, I'm like, oh, no, I can't work today. As if my job was like difficult and required, like that, or like as if I didn't like my job, or if I didn't, like it's just so ridiculous. And I finally just like at some point have to just be like, okay, no, there are things that I have to work on, that I have to get done. I have to edit. I have to upload. I have to, maintain certain things. I have to make sure that, this and this and this and blah, 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 like all these things. There are things that like I have to do because it's part of my job. And as someone who works from home, it is my responsibility to get these things done when I said that I was going to get them done. And, these kinds of things. And so I finally just have to like, I have to just be like, no, we just have to do it. Like, and then, and it's one of those things where it's like, you just have to do it. You just have to put your tush glue on, sit down, and just get it done. Because then once it's done, then it's done. And then you don't have to worry about it, until, the next cycle of stuff comes around. But it's just, my point is once it's done, then it's done. Then you don't have to worry about it. But getting to that point has just been really difficult. And I don't know if that's also because like my husband is here with me, because he got sent home from his work sometime in March. I don't even know when in March, but sometime in March. Not like laid off or anything like that. But just, I think they just sent everybody home, and they were like everybody has to work from home until, we can get this thing under control. And originally it was just supposed to be like the 2 weeks or whatever. But then it got extended, then that deadline got extended to like, April 10th or whatever it was. And then it was like, no, it's all the way until, like April 30th or May 1st or whatever it is. And so it's like, so he doesn't know. We have no idea when he like physically goes back to work. Like we'll go back to work in his office. And so I don't know if it's like there's an element of like he's here and so he's working from home. See, that's another thing, because he's working from home. And so then I'll lie to myself and I'll be like, his shit, he needs to get his shit done first. He needs to get his shit done first because it's more important than mine is, because he's on like a super deadline. These reports have to be done, or this report or this thing or this email or whatever it is, this stuff of his is more important than mine, because, it has to get done by the end of, I don't know, Thursday, just, some random, obscure time, which none of that is true. Like, absolutely none of that is true. I lie to myself and I like convince myself that, oh no, he needs to go first. He needs to do this stuff first because, his is more hit. For some reason, I equated money to being more important than my work, because he makes more money than me at the present time. I don't make any money off this podcast. I have another job that I do as well, but I have several other things that I do that I work from home and do. The podcast is just kind of my own thing. I don't make any money off this, but yeah, like it's just one of those things where it's just like, so for some reason, I will equate that and I'll be like, well, he makes more money than me, so his stuff is more important than mine, which is just completely not true. Like, first of all, his job is not more important than, my job or the things that I have to get done, where they are on a totally equal level, of importance. And the only time that, that is even remotely true is if, he's on, he has to get this, and this done by like a certain, like this has to be done by 9 o'clock tonight or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Which, by the way, has not happened since we began self-isolating. So none of that has happened. Like none of those things. He has not had like a specific deadline that like this. Yeah, like none of that has happened. So it's just another excuse. Oops, sorry. It's just another excuse that I tell myself as to like, well, I can't work right now because he's doing stuff, so I can do other things like clean the tile in the kitchen for the fourth or fifth time today, or something ridiculous. Or I can, fold this load of laundry that, it's not even fold the load of laundry that I just finished washing and drying. It's refold the load of laundry on the couch that I just folded like an hour ago and got distracted and like, didn't put away. I have to refold it because I don't like the way that I folded them the first time, which is completely irrelevant because most of the stuff gets hung up anyway. So it's like, unless it's like underwear or, like pajamas or something, most of the stuff gets like hung up in the closet anyway. So why am I folding? Like, it's just an excuse for me to like not do stuff. And I've just found myself, hold on. I'm drinking decaf coffee because if I have anything with caffeine in it after like 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I will be up until all hours of the night. But, oh yeah, and then like the coffee maker broke literally like yesterday. Last night it like broke. And I guess it was yesterday. I think. I don't know. Doesn't matter. Coffee maker's broken. So I'm having to do it old school where I like boil the water on the stove and then pour the water over the coffee grounds. So then yeah. Anyway. Again, just another excuse for, well, this is going to take 20 minutes for me to do. It doesn't. It never takes 20 minutes. Like that doesn't even, no. It's not true. It's just not true. It's just stuff it's just shit that I'm telling myself as, reasons for like why I'm not working. And I don't do this. Like normally on just like a regular, like if this was just a regular work week and, he was going to work, like just a regular work week, everything is fine, flu season or not, like just regular work week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 or whatever. Sometimes he doesn't even work that, but whatever. Like none of this stuff, like I wouldn't do this. I don't do this. And so I don't know what it is. I cannot figure out what the reason is for like why I'm all of a sudden, and again, not a novice. This is not like the first time I've ever worked from home in my entire life. I've done this before. And I love it. I enjoy it so much. But for some reason, this is like different. It's like weird how different this is. And I'm just coming up with excuses for why I like am not able at the time to do the work that I need to do or get done. And I don't know if it's because, like I said, I don't know if it's because he's home. And so that coupled with, like the all important lie that I tell myself of his shit is more important than mine, again, completely not true. Um, or if it's, just the feeling that like, well, everything's closed and like it kind of feels like it feels like house arrest a little bit, but we're not big like social people to begin with. Like we're not real social butterflies or anything like that. We're pretty introverted. So we don't like we're not going to a bunch of bars or like, club hopping or whatever I don't even know, whatever the thing is. We don't we're just like we just don't do that. So I don't know. So I guess to us it just kind of like feels like a vacation in some ways without actually being a vacation. I don't know what it is, but it's just very odd. And I don't know. I'm going to have to do a little bit more digging like within myself, I guess, as to why this is so difficult. Like why this seems like it's more difficult to do work now versus, just on a normal work week. I don't know. I just don't know. Cause like if you're someone like me who uh has the luxury, because it is a luxury. It is a luxury and it's pretty privileged to be able to work from home just in general. That's a pretty privileged thing to say. That's a pretty big luxury to have. And we don't even have we don't have kids or anything. We have dogs, but you know, so it's not like I'm a housewife, that has 4 kids or anything like that. Like there's no, I chose to work from home, versus working for a company where I would physically get up and like go to a place every day, which I've done before, and I don't find it awful. I don't find it terrible. I just prefer to work from home because I've done it before and I just like it better. Um so it is a privilege to be able to choose um to have the choice, first of all, to have that choice even available to work from home, and then to actually make the choice to work from home is a privilege, and it is a luxury, and I don't think that there's really anything other than that to say about it. Especially in my personal position, like I said, we don't have kids, so it's uh nothing. There's not like, yeah, there's no kids to like justify it or anything. It is a conscious choice that he and I both made together, and I've done this before, and so I don't. For some reason, it just is really different working from home right now, and so because I have done it before and I really enjoyed it, and now I am able to choose. I was able to choose and then make the conscious choice to say, yes, I'm going to work from home. and then do it. Um, you know, so that was like, it was already my job. I guess that's my point from that very long-winded ramble. Was that was my point, was that I chose this. Like, I normally I would just work from home anyway because I chose that thing. That was the way that I chose to, that, well, we chose to go together. And so this is kind of something I signed up for. Like, I went in, we both went into this knowing that, like, you're going to work from home, blah 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 blah. Um so I don't know. It's just very, so anyway, okay. So yeah, my point. I chose to work from home originally before this quarantine stuff started. I have been working from home, you know, and I'd worked from home before, like years ago. So this isn't something new. I've done it before. I really enjoy it. I really like it. And I, so I was already in a boat of people before this quarantine stuff even began, of people who were already working from home. Like, this is just a thing that, like, I was already doing. So, and why I say it's a privilege and a luxury is because, first of all, we were able to make the choice together that, it would be okay, and we would be okay, and we would be fine if I worked from home. But also, I am not in the boat of people who is having to file for unemployment. I'm not in the boat of people who, really has to worry about being laid off, because a lot of my work is contract work. So, you know, all this stuff was kind of planned for to begin with. Because when you're a contract worker, you plan to only work for X amount of time before the contract is up, that kind of thing. Um, so I'm not in the boat of people who has to file for unemployment. I'm not in the boat of people who has to really worried about being laid off. Um, going into work and having to have that conversation, with your boss, where they're like, we can't afford to pay you anymore, so we're really sorry, but we have to lay you off, kind of thing. And then having to go home and face your family and tell your family about that. Like, I'm not in that boat of people. I'm also not really like a small business owner, in the sense that, like, I don't own a hair salon. I don't own, a mechanic shop. I don't own, an ice cream store, like a local ice cream shop, or an antique store, or like something like that. Like, I don't own, so I'm not a small business in that sense either. So I don't really have to worry about any of that. That's why I say it's privileged. That's why I say there is a luxury element to it, of being able to, there are things that I just kind of don't have to worry about, because I'm in the group of people, I'm in the small boat of people who, work from home, who willingly, consciously made the choice, with their family, to say, okay, you're gonna work from home, and that's gonna be okay, and we're gonna be fine. That's why I say it's a luxury. I just wanted to be kind of clear about, like, that's, and again, that's just my own personal opinion. That is just my personal opinion of why I would consider it to be a luxury if you're in kind of my boat. Not I'm not talking about people who have kids. I'm not talking about, any none of that. I'm talking about, you know, someone in my boat who, you know, made the choice, who is either single, or not even that. Just the small group of people in my boat, of, you know, who are in a relationship, have a relationship going, you live together, maybe you're married, maybe you aren't, and you've worked it out to where it will be cool, if you work from home and you choose to work from home, like you guys will be okay. That small group of people. It I do consider personally, I do find it a privilege, a very privileged thing to say, and a luxury, kind of like a luxury item. Um, Not bragging. I'm really not trying to brag here or, be super arrogant or anything like that. Um, I'm merely just trying to, kind of recognize the fact that, not everybody gets that choice or has that choice or, even has that choice presented to them or is even able to make that choice because it's really not a choice that's viable for them. Like I totally get that, you know, I I really shouldn't be talking about, you know, kind of the broader group of people. Um and so this is really not like me complaining. I'm really not trying to complain. I'm just trying to say that I do recognize the fact that um I was even able to have the choice to work from home and then to be able to choose to work from home and have it work out and be okay with my family. Um, I do consider it to be a privilege and a luxury, and I'm aware that that's what it is. So that being said, um, right. So again, I chose this. This is a thing like I'd been doing well before the quarantine or COVID was even talked about. Really, like this is something that I signed up to do, and I'm good at it. I enjoy it. I love working from home. I love, contract work. I love my various and sundry jobs that I get through contracting. Um, and so I just, I just don't know. Like, so it didn't, that's my point is that it didn't really affect like the quarantine when everybody was like, there's a work from, or the stay at home order or the shelter in place, whatever it's called, order. Um, and like that didn't necessarily super affect me. Like I wasn't in the group of people that really affected. Like I was already doing that. I just like from a normal perspective, I just kind of had, you know, like yeah, I would go to the local coffee shop or whatever just to get out of the house. But, this is kind of what I signed up for. So, I just don't really, I guess I just really can't figure out why it's been so difficult for me personally to like kind of just, just do it. Just get it done. Get all the stuff that, I normally would get done anyway, that I normally would have to do anyway. Get that done, because it's work and it's kind of what I signed up for. Now it seems like that's super difficult and I don't know why. Like I don't know why. I can't I just don't understand like why. I don't know. It just seems very odd that like it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me like rationally and like logically I can't come up with a reason because I would never like I don't do that in general. Like I don't um like during a regular work week, I'm not like coming up with 9 million reasons why you know, I'm not like, oh, I need to do the windows and then I need to dust the entire house all in one day. And then I have to do all the laundry of all the clothes and vacuum nine or, 10 times and wash all the tile floors and clean like, just, I'm just coming up with a bunch of shit that doesn't need to get done because I've already done it. I don't know. What? Oh, my husband's here. He wants to show me the puppies. We have two left. We have Theodore or Teddy. He's the fuzzy one. And then Emma or Anna. He hasn't decided the name of the dog yet, but she's kind of scrappy. Not that it matters what we call them anyway, because they're going to new homes, so they're going to be able to name them whatever. But hi, babe, I see you. He's holding the puppies. Sorry. He was holding the puppies one in each hand and and was like bouncing them. But I totally lost my train of thought. Right, working from home. So I just can't figure out like why all of a sudden now I'm coming up with a bunch of stuff to do. A bunch of, and let's just call it what they are, excuses. They're not reasons, they're excuses to not do the things. And it's not really to not do them, it's more to like just procrastinate the shit out of, out of doing it. And I don't know. Is anybody else having a problem with this? Because I really don't think that I'm the only one having an issue with this. I hope, let me rephrase that. I hope I'm not the only one having a problem with this. I can't imagine out of, all the people in the US, there's like 328 million people in this country or something like that. Or those are like the projected amounts for the census or something like that. Yeah, I can't, out of 328 million people, I feel like the statistical odds of me being the only person that feels like this is very low. But I just don't, because it's not different. Like, the only thing that's changed is that a quarantine has been put in place or a self-isolating, I don't know, the shelter in place, stay at home order, and COVID. Like, that's it. That's the only thing that has changed. And like, my daily schedule hasn't changed. And by that, I mean or not daily schedule, my weekly schedule hasn't changed in the sense that like I still have things that I have to do on a weekly basis that I have to get done. Blah, blah, blah. I have this. I have, a list of stuff that I have to get done. That's work related. Things that I am getting paid to do. They get done. And they get done and I do a good job. And, that kind of, I do the work. I do the work and I enjoy my work. That's the other thing. I really like my jobs. I love contracting. I love my jobs. I love what I do. In my jobs. And, but for some reason, do I need to get this design done? No, because I need to wash the windows for the 5th time. Like, it makes no sense. I don't know. I don't understand why my brain is just like, no, you can put that off until later. It won't take you that long, blah, blah. And then of course, even if it doesn't take me that long to do the thing that I, need to do, it's still, because once it's done, I feel it's like, okay, check that off my list. I feel better. I feel good. That's off me. Don't have to worry about it anymore. Moving on. Now I can go do, whatever else and blah, 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 blah. And then I can just kind of, because once it's done, then it's done. And I check it off the list and I feel really good. And I feel very like cool. Like I did this. It was, even if it takes me longer than I expected to do the thing, then I still feel like, well, once it's done, then it's done. Check that off the list. Then it's off me. Don't have to worry about it anymore. Cool. Done. Awesome. Let's get paid and move on. Like but it's like getting there, like moving my butt to the office to sit there in the chair with my tush glue on, not get distracted by, you know, whatever thing on the internet, clickbait thing, or, oh, I'm going to check the news because I haven't checked it in the last 5 seconds as if something has changed, or whatever the thing is, or, oh, you need to look this up and do that. It's just this list of stuff that I'm like, oh yeah, I need to do this and this and this while I'm on the computer. And then I go down rabbit holes and it's just like, no. Close all this stuff. Shut it down. Sorry. No. Close on this stuff. Shut it down. We got to get this stuff done. Like, I don't know. It just seems very like it doesn't make sense. Why is it so difficult? I don't know. I have noticed that even my husband is having like he's even struggling a little bit with working from home in the sense that like, he's struggling in the sense that like it's just weird for him. Like it's just like a new thing. Like he's never really done it before. I don't think. I don't know. I don't think he has. I mean, luckily he has a job where it doesn't really require him to go into the office. Like he can legitimately work from home, on his work computer, but it's still just like, oh. So, I mean, I don't know what the problem is. Maybe I'm just like being lazy or just procrastination. I mean, both of those things are definitely true. I am definitely doing both of those things. I guess my frustration stems from the fact that I signed up for this. I knew what was going to happen. I've done it before. I love my job. And 9 times out of 10, I do not do this. Like, it's different if I'm, like, sick or just, like, really not feeling good or whatever. Like, things happen, emergencies or whatever, like, happen, whatever. Life happens to everybody. But on a whole, for the most part, I don't do this. This doesn't happen. I don't come up with a long list of reasons as to why I, am procrastinating doing something. Like, it just doesn't, it's not a thing. So that's been really frustrating. Yeah. Working from home, my relationship with working from home. Quarantine edition. Ugh, I don't know, man. I don't know what the problem is. I need to figure it out, though, because it's kind of making me upset a little bit at myself, like a little bit angry at myself that, like, why can't I just pull it together and, like, just, do what I normally do? Like, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is. But, eventually all the stuff gets done and everything works out and it's all okay, but I'm just more frustrated with myself that, and the fact that I'm like consciously aware of the fact that like I'm actively coming up with excuses to procrastinate stuff. But I do it anyway. It's like, Jesus, I don't know. I don't know, Abigail, what the deal is, but maybe it'll get better. Maybe I just need to like talk to myself a little bit nicer, or I don't know, maybe I just need to like beat myself up and just just yell at myself to get in shape. I don't know what the answer is. I really don't. I don't have a clue as to what the answer is to get out of this like, blah. I don't really want to do that right now, so I'm gonna go, sweep the porch for the 5th time. Just move dirt around. I don't know. But hopefully this will all be, over soon, or even if it isn't over soon, we'll all be able to kind of get out of the rut and kind of get back to life a little bit as seemingly normal as it can be, I don't know. We'll have to figure it out, but we can all figure it out together, hopefully. I'm not super counting on that, but a girl can dream, right? So Yeah. So okay, again, the uh the podcast will now until forever be known as the Manic Pixie Weirdo podcast, or that's what you type in. And the Twitter handle is at capital M, capital P, capital W, Eardo. So capital M P Weirdo, capital P podcast. That's the Twitter handle. Also, we are on iHeartRadio. We're on Spotify. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. We just got on a bunch of other things through Podbean or Buzzsprout. Excuse me, it's Buzzsprout. Just added a bunch of lists of places that I can subscribe to. I'm trying to get on Pandora, but they did say it was going to take like 6 to 8 weeks or something before that's official. So I will keep you guys updated on that. Also, the email is the same. So it's internal dialogues of a curious human at protonmail.com. I will update that and change that as soon as I can figure out how to do that. But yeah, I'm gonna have to like email them or something. But for right now, that's the email. So it's the same email. If you want to email me or us, my mom too, or whoever, just hit us up with the email and let us know what you think. Cool. Okay, so I will talk to you guys next week, and hopefully I won't have like struggled that much just getting to recording, because for some reason that's very difficult, even though I love doing it. So I don't know. Anyway, all right. It's all good, guys. It's all good. I love you guys. All right. Bye. See you, weirdos.